We intend to deepen our legislative collaboration and continue what Malaysia is doing and harmonizing laws and advance, for example, as stated, maritime safety, disaster risk reduction, and climate change adaptation. Well, Philippines has made huge headways in that department of women equality, women, youth, and gender equality.
We actually look at the data, and our data basically shows as well that Philippines basically are in the top 3 for youth, so for young parliamentarians, and also for women parliamentarians. We want to make sure that the youth are being given a platform, and we are really pushing it hard in the ASEAN region too. I mean, they are the future of ASEAN.
But in the Philippines, we have a term called bayanihan. If you stand alone, you do not accomplish much. But it is more you magnify the strength of being united. I think AIPA is reflected on that. That is the role that we like to reflect as we host next year.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Aipacast, amplifying voices of AIPA. Now, Aipacast explores the world of ASEAN through conversations with parliamentarians, experts, and also leaders who will share their insights and experiences on a wide range of topics. And today, we are recording from the World Trade Center, Kuala Lumpur. The 46th AIPA General Assembly is currently being hosted under the theme Parliament at the Forefront for Inclusive Growth and Sustainable ASEAN. And for this episode, we are very honored to have Honorable Raymond Democrito C. Mendoza, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives of Philippines, to be with us as we look ahead to the Philippines AIPA Presidency 2025 to 2026. Honorable, welcome. It is truly a pleasure to actually have you with us for this episode of Aipacast. Now, it has been a very long day, and thank you so much for spending time with us. So I will actually go straight to my question, which I'm always so excited to actually ask this question because next year is Philippines chairmanship and hosting AIPA GA Assembly as well. So as the Philippines prepares to assume the AIPA presidency for the year 2025 to 2026. Can you please share the vision and priorities that will guide Philippines AIPA presidency during this most important year to come?
Yeah, thank you, Secretary General Yanti. And first of all, I would just like to thank you for the well-organized and soon to be very successful Malaysia meeting for this AIPA. Well, we are prepared to assume the presidency, of course, but our priorities are guided by the ASEAN Community Vision of 2045. So again, as already mentioned on my speech this morning or this afternoon, we talk about peace, prosperity, and people empowerment. That the parliament should ensure those engines are towards that direction. In terms of peace and security, we hope that conflict should resolve among us. And this morning, I heard no less than our Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, said that we should veer away from the old notion that ASEAN or AIPA was established for whatever groups it may be, but it should be established for us, members of ASEAN, of ASEAN AIPA. The notion of centrality, that we should resolve and we should be united if there are issues and conflict, so that we should be dealt as a region and as one, ASEAN and AIPA.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And I think this morning, during the opening itself, it's good to actually hear from our AIPA president as well, then continued from the Prime Minister of Malaysia, the importance of this, his acknowledgement on how our parliaments in ASEAN are supporting the ASEAN, again, the community vision of the 2045 is rightly so, because it was just launched this year as well. And aligning to this is something that we need to actually support ASEAN vision. And I'm glad that it's really coming from the Prime Minister as well.
For me, it provided clarity for someone who's been with international organizations.
Yes.
Because being a member of parliament from trade unions, if you want to talk about the world of work and decent jobs, then that is the expertise of where I'm coming from. I usually attend the international labor organizations yearly. But what the Prime Minister Anwar sort of clarified, simplified some complicated matters, he did in one speech. And I thank him for that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Correct. And I think because it's coming from him and everybody seems to understand.
It sort of clarified our role, our future in 2045.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do about being used as I already mentioned, that whether you should side in this particular group or this group, we should be independent enough to form our own identity,
Correct.
Of course, respecting individual identity of member countries of the ASEAN. But then again, just like in politics, just like in politics, you should be dealt as one.
Yes.
And then, because we are a bigger group.
Yes.
But if you deal with each and every country that is susceptible to whatever it may be, and the result may not be
absolutely
as I think your Deputy Speaker Ramli said that we should stand together.
Absolutely.
If we don't stand together, then we crumble.
And again, emphasizing on ASEAN centrality, and that's more important as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in building on the achievements of Malaysia's presidency, what areas of cooperation? I mean, today is really our first day, right? We've had our day zero yesterday. We've actually had a good discussion as well during the EXCOM, and today is the opening and our plenary session 1. So what areas of cooperation and engagement do you hope to further strengthen with AIPA?
Well, we intend to deepen our legislative collaboration and continue what Malaysia is doing, and harmonizing laws and advance, for example, as stated, maritime safety, disaster risk reduction, and climate change adaptation. In fact, the Philippine legislation has already passed and formed a new committee, a committee on ASEAN matters that is really focusing on the gains of especially ASEAN and also AIPA. So that can be sort of a bridge between government, parliaments, and communities.
Yes.
We hope very much, because it is a new committee, Secretary General.
Right.
And again, that shows also the firm commitment of this administration and, of course, our Speaker because there seems to be a gap between, of course, the youth and the older generation.
Right.
And this is a way of making sure that this generation may add that there are now in the Philippine, we call it the Batasan Pambansa,
Right.
the lower house, the Congress. Of the 300 plus, we have around now 90 who are members of parliament and very young.
Wow.
In fact, you will see that the chair or the majority leader now is around that bracket. And the chairmanship and the lady at that of a committee on appropriations is very, very important.
Right.
And of course, another, which is the committee on accounts, like a treasurer of the House of Representatives, is also a woman legislator.
Right.
So I think we're viewing there. I think we are going to. The Philippines has made huge headways in that department of women equality. We're going to another topic, but then again, women, youth, and gender equality.
I mean, talking about youth and talking about women, we actually look at the data, and our data basically shows as well that the top three even countries in ASEAN, Philippines basically are in the top three for youth, so for young parliamentarians and also for women parliamentarians. I mean, that is really a very high achievement for us to actually see Philippines to be in that top three for both.
We're electing younger members of parliament.
Right.
In fact, we just came from an election last May 2025. And it was noted that the youth are now more involved compared to before, because it has been shown on the persons that are being elected, especially in the Senate. So right now, there is now a focus. We're being made aware of the power of the youth.
I think that's the thing about it, because the youth and those, I would actually say the seniors or the wiser ones, they really need to work very closely with the experience from our wiser ones or the seniors. They have extensive of experience that they can actually share to the youth. The youth has so much dynamic and ideas of how it can actually be pushed too.
Secretary Yanti, I've been a member of parliament for 7 terms. It's quite long. And I can see the changing of statistics, and you can see that the youth are more involved now as compared to before.
Because we keep on we want to make sure that the youth are being given a platform, right? And we are really pushing it hard in the ASEAN region too. And I think by the time the youth have that vision, I mean, they are the future of ASEAN.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
And hopefully that we can really hammer it when they will having their conference, I guess, next year. As of now, it's in the island of Boracay.
Oh, really?
In the Philippines.
Oh, wow. Exciting. Now, how does Philippines envision enhancing this collaboration? Because now we have more collaboration and have more discussion, especially yesterday was our AIPA and ASEAN hearing. We basically have more depth in terms of discussion, but we're also looking into those. So observer parliaments, you can actually see in our plenary session, we have more than 16 observer parliaments really participating in this. And we have the ASEAN bodies and also development partners. So how do you envision enhancing this?
Well, can I just divert a bit, because you're talking to a member of parliament who's also come from labor.
Okay, right, sure.
I see ASEAN. I welcome the move that we're increasing, and then the speaker was saying that you have so much that you have the observer status. But I would like to suggest that probably a group from the labor sector, I don't know how it works, it can be done. The labor sector in ASEAN area has this group, the ASEAN Trade Union Congress.
Oh, okay.
It's based in Jakarta, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
I may
Right.
become one of its leaders next year.
Yes.
But I'm still in parliament. But that being said, we may consider that one. That's just an opinion coming from a deputy speaker, coming from labor.
No, I think it's a good suggestion, because now...
You say collaboration. We need collaboration
Absolutely.
from the business side.
Correct.
You also need from the side, the world of work.
Correct.
The one who actually also produces and partners
Yes.
for production.
I mean, that's what our AIPA president was saying. I mean, there's an exhibition currently here, and I'm encouraging, and these are really opportunities for our ASEAN region to look at on the business side, right? And rightly so, when you talk about, labor, I think we also probably need to actually have an engagement from that side to actually have a better understanding.
Hopefully our leaders will take that into consideration. But, the Philippine labor movement will always look into the side of Singapore and also of Malaysia.
Right.
So that is something that we may have to, and hopefully they consider.
Yes, I do
Secretary,
hope so. I mean,
General
it
Yanti.
is, I think normally sometimes when we have more engagement on the ground, it's much better to see at a different angle as well. You know what I'm saying? So it will actually help us to even understand better which direction we want to actually go to.
Exactly.
Right.
exactly,
So
exactly.
finally, this is my final question, but I really, really want to hear And what are your advice, perhaps, or what are your messages you would like to share with your fellow parliamentarians as well, and the broader ASEAN community as Philippines embark on this new chapter of leadership?
Well, first of all, the Philippines is very honored to host the 2020s in 2026, both AIPA and ASEAN. But in the Philippines, we have a term called bayanihan, the spirit of bayanihan, where sort of if you stand alone, you do not accomplish much. But it is more you magnify the strength of being united. I think AIPA is reflected on that, and especially in member countries of ASEAN. That is the role that we like to sort of reflect as we host next year. So again, the often repeated phrase that united you stand, divided you fall. That is also the mantra of trade unionists.
I like that. Seriously, I like
So,
that. Really, I think the
yeah.
message is actually quite strong. For this, we absolutely agree with that. So, Honorable, we have come to the end, and I would like to actually say thank you. You have shared really inspiring, fruitful, but it is the ending part is powerful reflection too. So your message really underscores how leadership at both, we're looking at national, regional levels, and can really shape and respond to emerging challenges. Now, today's conversation reminds us that leadership within ASEAN is more than just a formal duty. So it is a commitment and also collective progress. And through AIPA, our dialogue, cooperation can become the bridge that turns
Yes.
shared aspirations into concrete action for peace and continuity and prosperity as well. So once again, we thank you, Honorable
agree with
Mendoza, for joining us on this Aipacast. And in this particular building, we're very lucky to actually have you in this World Trade Center and sharing your valuable insights. So we hope that today's episode has offered meaningful perspective on how collective parliamentary action and multilateral engagement can help build a more peaceful, resilient, and people-centered ASEAN. All right, so once again, to all our listeners, thank you for joining us on the special edition of Aipacast. And don't forget to follow us on the social media and stay tuned for the upcoming episodes as we continue to bring your important voices from across the ASEAN region. Until next time, take care and see you in the next episode.